Jayla hears the words, but they fall like scattered rain. Takes a breath, counts to 3, tries to build them back again. It's a different kind of listening. Need a little time, a little space. Slow it down, say it clearly. Let the sounds all find their place. She's not lost, she's navigating. Just another way to move through this. In her world of waves and echoes, understanding still exists.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Monday to anybody in the United States or after. So excited to have you all here. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Noni, and we are actually launching season 2 of our What the Duck series. Last year, I had a great response to it, different types of topics, subject matters that we all could learn from. So essentially, What the Duck is a play on words. Uh, Instead of saying what the F, we say what the duck. And this was inspired by me asking somebody if they knew anything about neurodivergence, and they didn't clearly. And instead of saying what is that, they said what the F is that. So now we have what the duck is, whatever concept of neurodivergence that we're going to be talking about. So today's topic is actually something very interesting because I had never heard of it before till I met one of our former guests from last year, Cherie Radden, I'm sorry, based in Melbourne, Australia. And I love Australia, and I'm glad that Cherie is there. And through her uh, is when I learned about auditory processing disorder. The initials or acronym is APD, and turns out that her oldest kid has it. And the oldest kid being Jayla, her name is Jayla. She's 19 years old. She just turned 19, maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and gladly agreed to be a guest on my show. And she's also the youngest guest I've ever had in What the Duck. So that is a huge deal, a huge impactful moment for me and for the show and for learning experiences from everywhere. And just a little bit about auditory processing disorder before I call Jayla up. It actually is not about hearing loss. Some people are hard of hearing, some people are deaf, however you want to call it, but this is nothing about deafness or hearing losses. The ears are working just fine, but the difference is that the brain has difficulty understanding or interpreting and organizing sounds when it reaches the brain from our ears. And according to the American Speech Language Hearing Association, auditory processing disorder affects an estimated 2 to 7% of children, and many of the cases go undiagnosed. And that means in almost every school setting, workplace, or even our community where we live, someone might be navigating the world this way in a way that we might not be used to since we take hearing and sounds and all of that for granted. And why does it matter? That is the other question I wanted to address. Why does learning about auditory processing disorder matter? Because when someone struggles to process sound, They're often labeled as distracted or not paying attention, inattentive, or just not trying at all, and that is far from the truth. Their brain, in reality, is simply processing things differently, and obviously, processing sounds very differently. And as I mentioned, our guest is a 19-year-old young woman, and I want her to share her story with us so she can educate us on what she lives with on a daily basis, how she navigates the world, what strategies she has used, and also her past experiences, how life was for her when growing up, especially in school, and now she works, so it's a little bit of a different uh, uh, category right there, but it would be great if you can show up with love and kindness towards Jayla as she comes up on stage. And also, if you have any questions for her, please feel free to write them in the comments, which will pop up in the comment section on our screen. So, without further ado, Jayla, please welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and so glad to have you. So, before we can get started, I will share the comments that are coming in. So, Kenny says, savor the flavor. Jackie, hi, Jackie. And ducks are great to look at. I don't know about eating them. Jackie, hi again. Lisa, thank you for being here. Kenny again. I don't know. Okay, so Jayla, are you ready? Okay. So please do unmute yourself. Currently, it says that you're on mute. Um, so whenever you're ready, tell us about you. Who is Jayla? And yeah, who is Jayla?
So I'm 19. I'm currently working a full-time job. Things I like to do is going camping, drawing, distracting myself. I do like staying at home sometimes, but then it does get overwhelming and I have to get out and do stuff. But yeah.
Okay. You mentioned that you like to stay home, but not really. So what is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is definitely camping. Just being out and having no internet and disengaging from the real world and reality.
Okay, okay. So we just talked about what auditory processing disorder was, and what do you think it is from your POV?
Um, I think my main thing is like not understanding people when they give me so many instructions or generally just overloading me with information. Um, Usually when people like speak to me and say, for an example, they trauma dump me, I can only remember so much anyway. So yeah, it's just really like when people overload me with information. Sometimes, like at work, I can get very overstimulated with noise and hair dryers and stuff. But it can only be sometimes when I know that I'm under the pump. Otherwise, loud sounds don't actually affect me all too much.
Okay. What is it that you do for work with hair
So
dryers? Yeah.
I'm a hairdresser.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you like that job in general?
I like the job because it's just hands-on,
Hmm.
um, and making people feel themselves. But yeah.
That's so great. That is so great. And they say that hairdressers are second therapists. So is
Yeah.
so is that what you're talking about, trauma dump?
Yeah, you get a lot of it, like, people saying, all the things that have happened in their life, and you just have to sit there and just listen. But yeah, people come in with all different moods. You don't know which one you're going to get on that day.
Gotcha. So how do you deal with that? If when they trauma dump on you, how do you work around that?
Um, at first, I definitely take it in. Um, it would be the same with like a movie. Like I would research about the movie, I would dig deeper, just like unnecessary things that I don't really need to know about. But I definitely do carry people's emotions. Not so much now because I feel like I've dealt with that, where I've come to a conclusion that I can't do anything about it. I can't fix everything. So I've generally been there to support someone, but know that I can't go out of my way to go fix it.
That is such a mature thing to say, and I think a lot of older people need to also have that mentality that we cannot fix everything. We can just
Yeah.
do our best. So thank you for that mature decision and sharing with us.
That's okay.
Absolutely. So, I guess just to learn a little bit more about you, what are some fun facts about you? What are some unique things?
Um, Fun facts is I guess that I like camping really. Um, I just love going to do different things. I did love doing footy at one stage, but I definitely go through phases. I can't stick to something. So, there's been so many things that I've done. I've done basketball, footy, singing, piano, all that sorts of stuff, and I've just never been able to stick to it. I get bored really easily. So it'd be something like, "Yeah, mom, I really want to do it. I really want to do it." And then it's like, I'm disengaged to it now. So I find it hard to engage with stuff for a long time.
I am so glad you shared that because when I was reading about auditory processing disorder, it mentioned that people who have it, they are extremely creative, like super
Yeah.
creative. And when you mentioned singing, piano, and football, basketball, that is like everything. So in the music world, singing and pianos and instruments, what is your favorite genre?
As in,
Like, do you like pop, rap, hip hop,
I'm
rock?
kind of I'm kind of everything. I don't really like obviously hard rock and jazzy stuff, but I do like every genre there is. I love listening to music. It's my escape, I think.
You and me both.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that, Jayla. Really appreciate that. Um, if you and I were in the same area, or let's say we were at the same job or same school, what would be one thing that you would want me as your classmate or your colleague, coworker know about you?
Um yeah, be patient. I think patient is a big thing for me. As all through primary school, I've always been told, you know, I've already explained that to you. I don't need to explain that to you again, when it's like I just need you to say it in a different way. Clearly the way that you're saying it to me, I'm not understanding. So I just need it to be said to me a different way. So yeah, if I could, and also to not be loud, if that makes sense. Like other things around me can't be loud, because I will always my ears always go to the other sound, so I hear that over you 10 times more. Um, so yeah, get me in a quiet place. Also my facial expressions. My facial expressions, people definitely take in a different way. So I could be saying a joke to you, but my face won't be saying that joke, if that makes sense. So my face will be pure blank, and it's like people are like, am I supposed to laugh at that? Like that was kind of insulting, or so just understanding my facial expressions, I guess. Like it's not how like my face can become across bitchy, but it's not actually how it is.
That is such a valuable piece of information. And I'm giggling because, or laughing because I know exactly what you're saying. You could be making a joke, but you have the most serious face, and
Yeah.
people either are confused or think that you're being sarcastic
Yeah.
when that is not the reason or the thing at all.
Yeah.
So I completely understand you with that, and it's a challenge. I think it's a huge challenge, and thankfully we have people in our lives who know us and who understand us, so it's easier to communicate with them. So
Yeah.
awesome information. Thank you for that.
That's okay.
And so then I guess after learning some cool things about you, I wanted to go back in time when you were younger. So when was the first time, or at least in the very early stages, you realized that you experience things differently from other people?
Um Well, my mum realized in year 3 or 4, and that's when I had started to get the testing, so I wasn't like, I had knew that there was some learning difficulties, but I wasn't 100% what that was until I got to, year 5 and 6, where it kinda started to get, like, a little bit serious, like, you're going into high school, and that's when I was struggling a bit more because the teachers would put me underneath the pump to get things done, and you should be up to this standard, and if you're not up to this standard, you're gonna fail throughout high school, and it's like I'm just not understanding it needs to be taken in a different way.
Gotcha. So lots of pressure from teachers and lots of the way it sounds like there's a lot of judgment coming in,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your mom was your support system,
yeah,
right? Kudos, mom. Good. So that is so great that mom was able to support you. And
yeah.
how long did it take? How long did the whole process take to get an understanding of what's going on?
Um, well, my teachers had already kinda knew that there was some, um, testing that was being happening, not so much what it was. Um I think it did take a while for the testing as such. I'm not sure how long. There's definitely a bit of a process to it. Um, but yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. And like you said, patience is a requirement to handle difficult topics, especially when it comes to the self learning and engagement. So that is awesome information. And what about your classmates and making friends? Was that difficult for you as well?
It was definitely difficult making friends, 100%. Um, I would have a really close friend for a certain amount of time, and then I'll cling on to somebody else. I couldn't really have a friendship a friendship group of friends, like, I couldn't be in a group. Um, I'm not sure why, but I definitely did struggle being in a group of friends. I could only ever really have one close friend. I don't know if that's just because there's too many personalities and I can't engage with all of that at once, and understand everyone as such, but yeah, I've generally just only had one close friend and bopped around.
That makes sense. And that was when you were younger. What about now?
Now I have the same issues, like, um, yeah, it's not as much as I can't keep a friend, I'm just too abrupt, if that makes sense. So I feel that I overshare what I feel and not so much take it back a notch, rethink it, then say it.
I understand. I understand. And it can be very difficult and a lonely experience as well when you can't have a group of friends and everything is coming at you at the same time. So
Yeah.
I appreciate, thank you so much for being vulnerable, Jayla, and for sharing this as well. Um, I guess my next question is, when does it get really difficult for you? And how do you like, can you share some moments when social interactions or just communication was very difficult for you?
Probably when mum tells me and gives me stuff to do.
Okay.
She would give me more than one instruction, and it's not like, sorry, she will give me a million and one instructions, and then I'll come back to her, and then she's like, "Why haven't you done the other things?" And it's like, "Oh no," like, and then she'll re-explain herself and come back to it. But yeah,
Okay.
and at work as well. When so I work with older people,
Mhm.
and sometimes it can be really hard to work with them because I feel that my brain is wired different to others. So like I feel that I think a bit more out of the box, if that makes sense. And people don't sometimes at work people don't know how to come around to me and understand where I'm coming from. Um but yeah.
That is so relatable. And I'm saying that because if you go to any workplace, I think the generational thing is there. But also if someone is wired differently or thinks differently or even operates differently, it might be hard to understand, just because there's not exposure
Yeah.
to different information. So, but that is mostly verbal instructions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, and you're okay with written instructions?
Yeah, that's a lot easier because I put, like, little boxes next to it and tick it as I go, that whereas, like, I can't visualize what someone has said to me and put that in my memory bank and tick it off, if that makes sense. I can only remember 2.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And did you have the opportunity, or did you, is one of your strategies like lip reading? If
Yeah,
this,
so yeah, I can only, like, look at someone's mouth when they talk, and then I can understand if I'm looking somewhere else and then repeat what you said. I can't, because I need to look at your lips and how you're saying something.
okay. I'm glad I asked that question because I think navigating through different strategies to support yourself is the best thing that you can do. And if lip reading is helping you, then fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. This is so fantastic. And I guess my next question is, wh- what is what is the best strategy that has worked for you to understand people more? You mentioned lip reading,
Yeah.
written instructions. What other strategies have you had?
Um, if someone has told me something to do, I have to repeat it back to them. Um, like, that's something I've learned throughout work. Like, I have to, so I know and we're all on the same page, I have to know that that's what they've said. Um, also asking heaps of questions, like just to make sure once again that I'm on the same page, especially at work when you're working with colors and toners and stuff. Like I want to make someone blonde and I accidentally make him pink because it was a misinteraction. So yeah, I definitely have to, like, I'm constantly repeating myself back to people at work.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that also, because I think when you repeat the information back out loud, it's just you're telling your brain that information as well, and then you're less likely to, I guess, make errors
Yeah.
when doing what people asked. Um, so let's take a little bit of a pause and go over some of the things that people have said in the comments.
Yeah.
So Jackie, to the topic with my age, I fired things off so fast. Yeah, that is so true, Jackie. That is so true. Um, People to always let me know to slow down. And Jackie is so great, Jayla. You will love her. She has a very uh, Michigan accent. So she sounds very different than I do,
Yeah.
and very fast talking as well. And it's amazing to listen to her. And so, yeah, sometimes we have to tell Jackie, what did you say? Can you say it again? It's awesome.
Yeah.
Nuggets of wisdom, kindness, goodness, encouragement, empathy. Are you a fast reader, Jayla?
No, I'm actually really, really slow.
Oh, okay.
It takes me a really long time to read and read a book and processing.
Understood. So I'm going to leave Kenny's comment here and let me know when you're done, and then I can go to the next one.
Okay.
And thank you, everybody, for joining. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So virtual screens make it more difficult to read lips, or does it help?
Yeah. It's definitely, I think, a bit harder. I need someone to be in front of me. I feel, I don't know if there's much of a difference, but like there's nothing different. Like you're still in front of me and I can still lip read, but I think it's just a present thing. Like I know you're present, you're in front of me, I can see you properly, um, read everything kind of stuff.
Gotcha. That
Yeah.
is that is a very valid point.
Yeah.
Valid point. So Jackie, I hope that helped answer your question. And it's just about face to face, in person, intimate kind of a lip reading thing. So okay, awesome. The next thing I have for you is, a lot of neurodivergent people are often misunderstood. And have you experienced that in your life, being misunderstood by people around you? It can be family or friends or just people in general.
Um, Definitely by my teachers, um, and my facial expressions. Um, so my teachers were definitely a big thing because throughout schooling they all knew that I had audio processing disorder. Um, but still had the same conversation with me, like, why do I need to constantly explain stuff to you? Like I've already explained it to you, and get really frustrated. At times, I did struggle with my dad a bit because my dad doesn't believe in any of this kind of stuff, so very closed off and closed minded. So it was sometimes really hard to talk to him because he's very blank as well as myself. Mum's very like show emotion, very upbeat. So it's very hard to communicate with someone that's not blunt, but no emotions, if that makes sense. Like I need to see emotions on people to understand them.
Okay. So, is it a little bit of contrast or contradictory? Because we talked about how when we're joking, we have this flat face, so
Yeah,
nobody understands, uh,
yeah,
like our own emotions when we're making a joke, but
yeah.
we need that emotion from the other person.
Other people, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So have you, being aware of that, have you made any strategies for yourself that if you are joking, then you should smile or have some kind of an expression, or is it still the same?
Um, I definitely think that I have gotten a lot better. As a kid, it was pretty bad. Not so much with jokes, but I'd always get told off by my parents, "Stop staring," like, because I have such a blank, like, bitchy face. So I'd always get told off by my parents, like, "Stop staring like that, like, look at me, look at the floor," like, so that was, pretty much a little bit before we knew all of this, so it was really hard to kind of understand why I was doing that with my face as such, um, but yeah, I definitely do think that I've gotten better over the times. Like, I actually like being honest with you, I haven't really put the time into better my facial expressions or just better myself. But it's definitely something that I'm trying to do over time, like such as reading a book. Like it's so hard for me to read a book. So oh yeah, if you haven't noticed that I do go off topic really quickly, I just talk about other things as well.
No,
So
that's great. The more information, the better. So all is good.
yeah, so with books, I really like I had struggled with my grades with English.
Okay.
So my dad would always get me down on I think it was like once a week, getting me to read a sentence of a book or just he would set me 5 pages and I'd get so overstimulated with him and I would hate doing it generally because he would say, "Oh, so tell me about that little bit of that book." And it's like, I don't know. I just read it. I just read what the words were and not so much the meaning of the book and processing it.
That is good to know because I think a lot of people in who I interact with right now, with my own job and other areas, they're the same way.
Yeah.
And so what about numbers? If it's very difficult for you to read books, how are you with numbers?
I don't remember numbers. If someone had said, remember this, like these 5 numbers, I won't be able to repeat it back to you. I could probably give you the first two, but not the rest.
So okay, how do you, then how does memorizing your phone number work?
I have actually, as a kid, definitely did struggle with that. Like, I'd forget my PIN all the time. Um, yeah, I would generally forget my PIN all the time, and it could be the most simplest one, but I'd just forget. So with my PIN number now for my phone, it's something that's valuable to me, and I know that I will remember.
Mhm.
So, like, valuable dates, if that makes sense, like someone's birthday, that I know I would never forget, or an anniversary or something. Um, but whereas if it's a number that doesn't mean anything to me, I won't remember it.
Absolutely. Do you remember your phone number though?
Oh,
I
my phone number. Yeah, I do remember my phone number. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's a very important number to remember.
Yeah. I only know my number and my mum's phone number.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I I feel like your mom is your biggest champion and your biggest support system. So kudos to mom. I know
Yeah.
she's right next to you, sitting right next to you. So kudos to you, mom.
Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess I mean whatever you're sharing right now, Jayla, is so awesome. It's so great to learn from you, and I'm just randomly curious about this now. What does your name mean?
Doesn't really mean anything. It was gonna be Shayla, and then yeah, they had come to a jailer.
So I'm so glad that your relatives came up with Jayla and not Shayla because I have a cousin named Shayla, and
Oh,
Jayla is definitely more cool sounding.
yeah.
Yes,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Of course, anytime. So I guess the next is you mentioned that when you're having a conversation, it's awesome when you repeat back what the other person said, especially with instructions. What other ways or written things, but what other ways have or strategies have you come up with to feel more supported in conversations? Do you like to give people a heads up or communicate that with your boss first? Like, what is your strategy?
Um, I don't really communicate it. Like this is like someone had asked me a question the other day about like I had asked about the told them about this podcast and they're like, "Oh, what is it for?" So like it's not really something that I openly talk about cuz I just don't want to be misunderstood more if that makes sense cuz people these days just think that everything's a label on everyone like that person has ADHD, that person has autism, this person has this and no one's seen for who they are and not what they have. Um, so I never really bring that up in a work environment, although it has come up as of late. Um, just because people I've noticed have started to get frustrated with me when it comes to instructions and remembering um, numbers, and because we work with numbers, which is colors, so it's really hard to like when they give me like six different numbers and it's like I don't remember one of them. Like I write things down. Um like I have my book full of so many writing down things that they've asked. Um other than that, like writing down has helped me a lot and repeating. I don't think that I have needed any other strategies.
That is very good to know. That is actually helpful. And I guess when you grow older, we process things differently, and the strategies upgrade or update, and then
Yeah.
more creative solutions come from it.
Yeah.
So, good thing that Jackie says you. So you have a new best friend now, Jayla. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess one more thing is so there's this is a broad question, and feel free to answer however it makes sense to you.
Okay.
So there are many families. Let's say there's so many employers. There's so many volunteering opportunities, and what would you like those people to know about auditory processing disorder from somebody who is living it? What would you what would you tell them to so they can support their family members, employees, and community members?
Um, I've mentioned it before about patience.
Mhm,
It's really hard to communicate with someone and understand someone when I can see them getting overwhelmed with me.
mhm,
Um, I don't like people being upset with me.
mhm,
So just to stay patient, um, allow me to uh, take my time to answer because I'm sitting there processing what you've asked or what you've said. Um, so I think people um, need to allow someone to process what you've said for them to answer, if that made sense. Um, Not get overstimulated with how many questions people ask. Like, I don't think it's ever a bad thing with how many questions someone asks someone to understand where they're coming from. And I think that was my biggest thing throughout primary school was when I had asked too many questions, it's like, well, why don't you know it? And it's like, well, I just don't understand it. It's not that I don't know it, I just don't understand what you're asking of me. Um, but yeah, I think those are the three things. Oh, and facial expressions. Like you can, my biggest thing is you never judge a book by its cover. Although someone is giving you a look, this is something that I've always struggled with as well because I read into someone's facial expressions. So I do the same thing as well. So when someone's looking, glancing at me, I'll be like, Mum, like they hate me, like, they want me, they wanna hurt me, that sort of stuff. But it's just generally because I've read far too much into it and I make stories in my head and I believe what they're thinking and I believe that that's what they're thinking. Um but yeah, just to understand facial expressions, like never read a book by its cover because like myself, you don't know what I could possibly be facing and people just read into me as much as I read into somebody else.
you're describing something that is very close to and
Yeah,
overthinking and the anxiety that comes from it.
yeah,
And nobody needs that. I know it, like it's very intense depending on how we see things or view things. And if someone's facial expression is giving us anxiety, we need to be self-aware and also let that person know that,
yeah,
to confirm that
yeah,
everything's okay. And what you said earlier about labeling and being misunderstood, I think that falls back down to just treating the other person, whoever it is, like a human being and
yeah,
not in a category.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that you and I are not any less humans than the person next to us.
Yeah,
So that is precisely the point. We're all human beings who
yeah,
just process things differently.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I'm just really curious now. This is because I'm into the music world and arts and entertainment. And you said that you love music and that's your escape. And then based on how much your brain can put stuff in or process the sounds, are you able to listen to the a full like a 3 minute song full on, or do you only hear like part of it?
Um, it it definitely depends what mood I'm in. I think if I'm sad and I want to sit there and cry, I would definitely listen to a full song. Um, but if I'm like really hyper and really excited, I'm definitely listening to 10 seconds to a song and then skipping to the next. But I think I'm pretty good with definitely finishing off a song. Um, because there's always a meaning to why I listen to songs.
Mhm.
Um, so I feel like if I were to skip it, I'm just cutting off the feeling of whatever I may be feeling at that time.
Gotcha. That's very true. Every song has some type of a meaning behind it that we can relate to. But I guess my follow up
Yeah.
is, do you listen to the beats of the sound, or are you focused more on the lyrics?
It definitely comes in and out. I'm definitely sometimes do listen to the beats and I try to recreate the beats,
Mm.
like tapping, and try to understand like how many beats are in that song. But I think that I definitely do listen to the lyrics a little bit more than what I do with the beats.
Okay, that makes sense. For me, it's just the opposite. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I listen to the beats, and then my hands, like you said, start tapping, and my legs start
yeah,
moving. Uh,
yeah,
Sometimes it's like, who cares about the words? They can be whatever.
yeah, yeah.
So I completely understand that. And I guess I think this is the conversation that I had with your mom a while ago. And that was about, Shuri, if you can listen, we were talking about the amount of words that you can process at a time, Jayla. And I think Shuri mentioned it was 8 words. 8. So, what does that training look like for you? If you wanted to process more than 8 words, let's say 9 words at a time, what kind of process is that?
Um,
So really, if a couple of sentences are in, it just means that your brain only takes in every kind of second word. That's why you get like you miscommunicate, and there's a lot of misunderstanding because you've got a little bit from this sentence and you heard a little bit from this sentence.
That makes sense. And thank you for sharing that, because if you're understanding a little bit of 2 sentences, that
Correct.
can just change the meaning of what's being communicated.
Correct.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a pretty that's something I've never heard of before, so it's always good to learn new things about how other people process things. And we have 10 minutes left, everyone. So if anyone has any questions for Jayla, please do let us know in the comments. And uh, I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I am so thrilled that I have such a young guest on this show, sharing her life and her story, and her ups and downs, her challenges, her wins. And it is really a big deal. So thank you, Jayla, for,
thank you for having me.
of course. So tell me, recently, what has been your biggest win?
Good question. So I did event a while ago did a 75-day challenge. It did only last 10 days, but we'll just pretend it's 75. And I went on walks every morning. It was actually mainly in the afternoon, and I would read books. Um, I was getting to like about 8 pages and still understanding. So it's about how much time you put into yourself. So I don't put that much time into myself because I have this mentality as I want to live life and I want to go camping and I want to go outside, I want to go shopping, I want to do things, but it's not when you look back and then you go through something hard, like you have to read something, it's like, well, what have I done to help myself? I haven't done anything. So I've definitely tried to learn to put more effort into myself. So although I'm going to be honest, I haven't been reading that book anymore. I have been looking at stuff online that interests me, and I've been reading about such as hair. Um, and reading more about that, because I definitely know through mum has definitely taught me a lot that you can definitely rewire your brain if you choose to, and you put time into yourself. I've watched it happen with my mum with her ADHD. Mum did used to be very hyperactive and, no offense, really annoying at some stages. But she's definitely, like, with all the studies that she does on herself as well as us kids, she puts time and effort, and you can see the progress through that as time changes. Whereas someone who's very closed off and thinks that there's nothing wrong with the world and nothing wrong with themselves, then, people don't change and you'll forever stay that blindsided person.
That is so true. That is so true. And Shuri, there's no need to take offense to that because all moms are annoying at some point in our lives. So, but they're annoying because they
It's
mean
my goal
well.
to be annoying.
Yes, exactly. Because they mean well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if
Yeah.
your mom or your dad or your partner is not annoying you, then they don't really care. And
Yeah.
so, you know what? When I go to Melbourne next time, whenever that is, I'm gonna reach out to you and be like, "Can you color my hair whatever you think is best for me? You just do that."
Perfect. Can't
Yeah,
wait until
I will not trauma dump on you
then.
because that's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what is a piece of advice that you would like to share? Well, this is my last question for you, Jayla. What is the one piece of advice that you would like to share with someone who might be going through something similar to you?
Um, I think, embrace yourself, love yourself, but if you feel that you do have struggle learning or whatever it may be, it may not be the diagnosis that I have as such, but go get help. Go do the testing. Like, I hated the testing so bad. Like, some of the tests that I had to do was such as you had to do a CD and then remember the words that came up or remember what they said. Like, the testing is definitely a progress, but I definitely would advise people to go just do it. Go get some testing. It's for yourself, and to know, like, what can I do differently, instead of living as though you're this different person that will never be able to learn and just feel like you're worthless and, just never be able to learn.
I was on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry. That is so true about what you said. If you can't invest in yourself, then you can't grow as a human being.
Yeah.
So, such a mature advice coming from such a young human being.
Thank you.
And of course, of course. And we have just a couple more comments that came in, and then we can go ahead and conclude the show. And but just know, Jayla, thank you so much once again. I appreciate you taking an early morning time frame in Australia to come talk to me and everyone else. And that is really appreciated.
No, that's okay. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And just let me know when you're done reading and I can move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So you have Nando's in Australia?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have Nando. Yeah, we do have Nando's in Australia.
Okay. Okay, then that means Annie and I are going to make a trip to Australia, Melbourne specifically, just for Nando's because he loves Nando's.
Nando's is so good.
Nando's peri peri chicken. There's nothing better than that.
I agree.
And I think so. Um, I've met Annie. I was in England in December, and we went to Nando's, and then Jackie, who you saw earlier, she and I met on my birthday this past July, and we
Oh,
had
wow.
Nando's as well. Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. And now Annie will probably tell me that I need to go to Australia and try Nando's there.
Yeah. Nando's is probably better.
I'm 100% sure that's true also.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jayla, thank you so much once again for being here. And thank you to every single person who showed up and engaged with the conversation, learned about auditory processing disorder from a person who lives with it and experiences it daily, and appreciate the support that you've all given. And especially, huge thank you to Cherie, who's sitting in the background next to Jayla, for teaching me first and then giving me permission to talk to Jayla and having her come on stage and share her story and not taking offense to being called annoying. So that is definitely really appreciated. And I hope to see you all next time. I'm going to bring someone who is also somebody with ADHD, and she is French. And she created a software for people who are neurodivergent uh, to practice art. And I would love to learn about her journey, and also the software that she's working on to support our mental health wellness. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your day or evening and early afternoon, and hope to see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.